This is the story of the secret Indian origin of China's greatest legend, the Monkey King. But this isn't what you think. The question isn't if they're similar. The real question is, how did an ancient Indian god travel 3,000 miles across the deadliest mountains on earth to become the most famous character in Chinese literature? For centuries, we've been told it's a coincidence. Two powerful monkeys from two different epics. A fascinating parallel. But it's not a coincidence. It's a direct transmission. To prove it, we have to follow a hidden trail of evidence, piecing together clues from the original 24,000 verses of an ancient Indian epic, to find the exact blueprints for Sun Wukong's powers, his journey, and his very soul. Our trail begins where all legends do, with a miraculous birth. It's our first rung on the ladder of truth. Where do these two impossibly powerful beings come from? In Journey to the West, Sun Wukong is famously born from a stone egg, made fertile by the wind, and from birth, he possesses incredible strength. He later achieves true immortality by stealing and consuming the celestial peaches of immortality, an act of defiance against heaven itself. Now, let's travel back in time to ancient India. As described in the Kishkinda Kand of the Ramayana, the divine monkey Hanuman is no ordinary being. He is the son of Vayu, the Hindu god of the wind, and as a child, he mistakes the sun for a ripe fruit and leaps into the sky to eat it, showing his innate power. After this cosmic disruption, the gods grant him a boon, invulnerability, and a form of immortality. Do you see? Both are intrinsically linked to the wind. Both possess godlike power from birth, and both secure their immortality in a confrontation with the divine order. This isn't a parallel, this is a pattern. But shared origins are one thing. What about their most iconic signature powers? This leads us to our second rung, the 72 transformations. Sun Wukong is a master of disguise. His ability to change his size and shape is legendary. But where did that idea come from? According to Valmiki Ramayana, specifically in the Sundarkand, Hanuman possesses the exact same abilities, called the Asht-Siddhi. He can become as small as a thumb to perform reconnaissance or as large as a mountain to battle his enemies. This isn't a generic superpower. It's a specific tactical skill set used for infiltration and combat, identical in both heroes. The blueprint is perfect. So we have the birth, we have the powers. What about the story itself? Could an entire epic journey be copied? In the Ramayana's darkest hour, the Lakshman lies near death, poisoned. The only cure is the mythical Sanjeevani herb, which grows on a specific mountain in the Himalayas, a world away. Hanuman makes the great leap, but upon arriving, he cannot identify the correct herb. So, what does he do? He uses his divine strength to lift the entire mountain and carries it back to the battlefield, saving Lakshmana's life. Now, think of Sun Wukong. While his main quest is for scriptures, one of his most famous exploits is his raid on the heavenly kingdom, where he steals the peaches of immortality. A monumental journey, a divine paradise, a magical life-giving plant. One hero lifts a mountain of herbs to save a life. The other steals a bounty of fruit to grant eternal life. The plot point is the same, a display of supreme power to acquire a celestial botanical cure. The similarities are now overwhelming, but this brings us to the most profound parallel of all. Both of these chaotic, impossibly powerful beings are eventually subdued. But how? Sun Wukong defeats the entire army of heaven. No god can stop him. He is finally trapped by the Buddha himself, who places a golden fillet on his head. This circlet cannot be removed. When the monk Tripitaka chants a sutra, it tightens, bringing the Monkey King to his knees. A being of pure physical power is controlled by spiritual authority. Now Hanuman. His power also rivals the gods, but his strength is given purpose by one thing, his unwavering devotion to Lord Rama. This theme of bhakti or devotion is the core of Hanuman's character throughout the entire Ramayana. He is bound not by a golden circlet, but by love and duty. It's the same spiritual dynamic, an uncontrollably powerful warrior whose chaos is channeled and controlled by a higher, more enlightened authority. For Sun Wukong, it's the Buddha's magic. For Hanuman, it's Rama's divinity. The method is different, but the narrative function is identical. We followed the trail, the birth, the powers, the quests, the subjugation. The evidence is undeniable. But this brings us back to our central question. How did this happen? How did Hanuman cross the Himalayas? The answer isn't in a myth, it's in history. In the 7th century AD, a real Buddhist monk named Xuanzang, the historical basis for Tripitaka, made a 17-year journey to India to retrieve sacred scriptures. Based on the historical records of the Silk Road and Xuanzang's own extensive diaries, he and other scholars spent years studying at great monastic universities like Nalanda. They didn't just bring back scrolls, they brought back stories. They heard the epic of the Ramayana. They learned of the powerful, loyal, divine monkey god Hanuman. And when it came time to create their own epic, Journey to the West, they needed a character to act as the powerful, sometimes unruly, but ultimately loyal protector of the monk Tripitaka.